All right, the biggest news that we are in fact tracking for you at this hour comes in from the Parliament. The monsoon session is all set to resume at 11 a.m. today, and the anti-paper leak amendment bill is set to move to the Rajya Sabha after being passed by the Lok Sabha through a voice vote. The legislation seeks to strengthen the existing 2024 law with tougher penalties against examination fraud and organised paper leak syndicates. Now, the bill proposes jail terms of up to 10 years, fines of up to 50 lakh rupees for individuals and steeper penalties for organised crime, mandatory fast-track courts and time-bound investigations and trials. Once cleared by the Rajya Sabha and upon receiving presidential assent, the amended law will come into force across the country. So, what's in the bill, and will the NDA prove majority in the Rajya Sabha? Let's take a look at the numbers that are coming to the fore from the Rajya Sabha. Remember that there was a lot of opposition uproar in the Lok Sabha when this bill was being discussed, and hence the BJP decided that they need to make sure that there is a voice vote that goes through. So, after that discussion, they went through a voice vote and the bill was passed in the Lok Sabha, and now it's moved on to the Rajya Sabha. So, let's look at the numbers here for the NDA. The total strength, first let's look at the total strength of the Rajya Sabha, which is around 245 seats, and we have a total of 242 members currently over there, and the halfway mark stands at 122. That's the magic number that the NDA government will be looking for passing this particular bill. So, let's look at the numbers. Halfway mark 122, NDA in support with its allies stand at 151. So, clearly way above the majority mark that they have over here in the Rajya Sabha. Let's look at individual numbers. BJP continues to be the single largest party with around 117 seats. So, 6 more seats and they could have reached the halfway mark by themselves. Let's look at AIADMK, which is handing over 4 votes in support of the bill. We have the JDU handing over 4 votes in support of the bill. We have the Shiv Sena also handing over 7 seats that they have for the votes in support of the bill. The TDP have 3 members and others stand at around 12. So, clearly we can see that the total number game for the NDA and its allies stand at 151. Halfway mark 122, way above the majority that they need in order to pass this bill in the Rajya Sabha. Let's now look at the opposition. The opposition created quite an uproar in the Lok Sabha. They demanded an apology from the government, from Amit Shah, over the use of pellet guns, and hence a voice vote was done and they passed it. But let's look at if they will support the bill in the Rajya Sabha, because in the Rajya Sabha, the opposition, or as they call themselves as the Indie Alliance, have a total of 71 votes if we combine all of the seats that they have. So, let's in fact look at the Indian National Congress, which has 33 seats in the Rajya Sabha. We have the AITC, or the All India Trinamool Congress, with 7. We have the Jammu Kashmir National Conference, or the JKNC, at 3. We have the SP at 4, the Samajwadi Party. We have the CPIM at 03, JMM, or the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, at 3. We have RJD at 3 and others at 8. So, overall the ND Alliance has only 63. So, even if they are in majority in support of the bill, they will only have 63 votes. We can look at many of them in fact supporting the bill as well. So, we might look at a number that is way larger than 151 that the NDA and its allies have. Let's look at some other seats that the Rajya Sabha has. We have others with 29 seats in the Rajya Sabha. We have the DMK with 8. We have the Biju Janata Dal or the BJD with 10. We have the YSRCP at 4. The Aam Aadmi Party has now reduced to 3 seats in the Rajya Sabha. We have the BRS with 3 and others at 6. So, this is the number that is coming to the fore from the Rajya Sabha. The NDA has a clear majority over here if they want to introduce the bill, get the bill to be passed. Remember that they have already passed the National Honour Bill, the Vande Mataram Bill as we are dubbing it, and this now the anti-paper leak bill that has come to the fore. It's cleared the test of the Lok Sabha. We will now look at how it performs in the Rajya Sabha. We got you the numbers. NDA has the majority over there. All right, let's now look at the bill, because that bill is of particular importance, why there is a discussion going on, and this has been the demand of the students. So, let's look at the bill, the 2024 bill, and we'll compare it to what the bill expectations are in 2026, because this is already a law in place. In 2024, it was in place, it has been implemented. So, let's look at what the 2024 bill has. It's for individual imprisonment. If an individual is accused of corruption, of unfair means in examinations, then he would get an imprisonment of 3 to 5 years and a fine of up to 10 lakh rupees. But if it was an organized crime group, that imprisonment increased to 3 to 10 years and the fine increased to up to 1 crore rupees. And for service providers or institutions, like if there are coaching institutes that are involved in this entire examination fraud racket, then the fine was up to rupees 1 crore, and there was also a recovery of examination costs. So, let's look at what the expectations now are. We want unilateral fines across the board. So, whether it's an individual, whether it's coaching institutes, whether we have in fact organized crime groups, all fines should be unilateral across the board. That is what our expectations are. We are also looking at significant increase in fines across offenders. So, we are also looking at this 5 to 10 lakh rupees, 1 crore rupees to increase manifold, because that will ensure stricter deterrence against examination fraud. We are also looking at unilateral maximum possible jail term increase in fines across all offenders. So, we are looking at increase in fines, we are looking at stricter punishments. We want longer jail terms for people who are involved in examination fraud. So, these are the expectations. Let's look at it individually. For individual imprisonment, we have 3 to 5 years, a fine of up to 10 lakh rupees, and in the 2026 bill, the changes that we expect are up to 10 years of imprisonment. So, straight away we are getting more imprisonment time for the people who are offenders, and the fine has now for an individual should be increased to around 50 lakh rupees. So, we are increasing it manifold. Let's look at organized crime groups imprisonment, which stands at 3 to 10 years. We want to increase it to 7 to 10 years of imprisonment if you are caught, and a fine of up to 1 crore was earlier, which is being implemented currently in 2024. We will increase that. We are looking to increase that through the 2026 bill to rupees 10 crore in this. Let's look at for service providers or institutions, the fine was up to rupees 1 crore and recovery of examination costs. However, now in the 2026 bill, our expectations are the fine should be increased to around 5 crore along with the recovery of examination costs. Remember that to conduct examinations is also very expensive. So, the government will try to recover that as well, because you are involved in corruption if the offenders are involved. So, this is a massive, significant bill that we are looking at, and hopefully it passes the test of the Rajya Sabha as well. Let me go across to Rajalakshmi Joshi, who's a political analyst. She's joining us on this broadcast to help us understand the Rajya Sabha numbers game. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out your time and for speaking to NewsX. A very good morning to you. This is a very significant development for the government, ma'am. We managed to pass it through the Lok Sabha, through a voice vote. How are you looking at the Rajya Sabha numbers when it comes to the anti-paper leak bill, ma'am?
Very good morning, Shivani. And I don't see much of a problem for the bill to be passed in the Rajya Sabha as well, because it's not a problem of numbers. The only issue, or rather the biggest issue that I see, is that there needs to be a proper discussion, which really did not happen from the opposition side yesterday in the Lok Sabha, because there was too much of a din, and in fact some of the opposition members, the kind of discussions that they were having were not really adding to or giving any extra additional inputs to the contents of the bill. So that is exactly what was expected, that we need to make the bill or we need to make the process and the system extremely foolproof. And I don't see the opposition, and especially the Congress, and especially the Congress leaders like Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi making that kind of an input. In fact, Ms. Priyanka Gandhi went out of her way to make jibes, unnecessary jibes at the task force, calling Professor Kamkoti, and a very established and a very renowned academician. She called him a Gaumutra expert. So, and added saying that what does he know about examinations or about education. And Mr. Rahul Gandhi yesterday in the Lok Sabha, he came up with some anecdotes and with some unnecessary remarks saying Tanashahi idiot and things like that. So that really did not make any input. In fact, it only took away the time of the parliament. Now, I think the opposition is trying to only get some political brownie points out of making these kind of remarks, because they know that it is not going to be difficult for the ruling party to clear this bill, because obviously no one will want to be seen opposing an anti-paper leak bill. So that is not going to be an issue, Shivani. The only thing is that, yes, what is extremely essential is that members across the board, even from the ruling party and from the opposition, everyone needs to put in inputs, and everyone needs to be asking all the right and tough questions to ensure that students don't go through all these hassles of paper leaks or to go through extreme measures. So all of this needs to be discussed in a very constructive manner, Shivani, and that is exactly what is missing. Now the ruling party has gone out and extended all kinds of leniencies, even extending the time for discussions, but the opposition doesn't seem to be looking at it constructively. They're only trying to gain political brownie points, trying to raise questions, unnecessary questions about things like I said, the Gaumutra jibe. That was unnecessary. So, in fact, it doesn't add or it doesn't raise the level of the debate. Now,
Right.
the only thing remaining in this is the debate, Shivani, because it's not a matter of the numbers. Now, today, in today's scenario, no one will want to be seen opposing any kind of a strong deterrent or any kind of a task force that is looking into the investigation.
Absolutely.
So, which is what is the contents of the bill. So
Right.
the bill is only trying to strengthen the arms of the act by saying that there will be a stronger deterrent, like which you have very meticulously explained, and also by creating a timeline for the investigation and a timeline to ensure that there is justice. So all of this only needs to be made
Right.
stronger by better debate, Shivani, and that is what I find sadly missing from the opposition side.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable perspective on this issue. We are moving on to some other stories now.